we probably should focus mostly on what we released this week around the roadmap. The goal coming out of today is that we get as much feedback on it, which we've been getting from the general chat, but um, we'd like to end the week tomorrow with a clear idea of what you guys are excited about, what you guys see in the roadmap that you'd like adjusting, so that we can prioritize and make sure everything is as clear as possible going into this year. So yeah, that's essentially the goal here. So it's a great time to ask questions. Hopefully, most of you have read the article. If not, we could probably do a quick recap of all the different things we're going to be doing in 2024 and beyond, and then we can go from there. So, does that sound good to everyone? Very cool stickers, by the way, John, and patch.
Yeah, I think it sounds awesome.
Great. So, before we get into it, Charlie, do you have any like updates development wise? Anything you wanted to mention around things that are ongoing? Yeah.
It'll be pretty quick because the team's really heads down on just focused on some really core things. But I will mention three things. One, that we're really in the process right now of completing the final game contract work so that we can fully transition to the blockchain, which is super exciting, and to the Thrive engine. So we are going to be doing our final testing for that full transition starting on Monday and going through next week. And at that point, we should be looking really good on it. So we're very excited about that. We also are tying up the last of the work around some of the onboarding changes we made. It's what I'm calling in phase one, which is a more guided experience. Of course, this will be good for getting new players in. We're then going to, as Hunter's going to mention, we're then going to move on to some really exciting things around wallets and sort of and making lowering the barrier of entry into the game. And so that'll be exciting. That'll be kind of phase two and phase three that Hunter will be discussing. But we do have some work going on at onboarding that will be released in the next couple of weeks. And then the last thing I'd like to say is I know there's some of you out there that are waiting for and the vouchers aren't migrating from Colonize Mars to Thrive. And so we know that's an issue. We are looking at it. We have a fix. We just have to go implement the fix. So thank you for your patience on that. Appreciate that. But hopefully I'll have great news this time next week on the vouchers. And that's it.
Great. Can you guys still hear me, by the way?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome.
Well, at least I can. I
Okay.
say we.
Just comment if you. Okay, great. So I'm gonna just like share my screen and present because I figured that's the best way for us to just talk through it. And I have a nice little presentation for everyone. All right, let's see what's going on here. Sorry, just give me 1 minute. Everyone see this?
Nodding.
Yep. Okay. Great. So we'll just quickly go through the year in review. So the first thing that we were able to do this year, of course, is we launched the gameplay loop for Thrive on Mars, including a 16 resource chain engine, managing production consumption of resources. Everyone's familiar with this, but just keep in mind, like, we did not have that full thing up this year or before this year, and that was major in terms of a development effort. So that was awesome to see. It's now running accurately. It's very cool. Weather and hazards. So this has been iterated over, and is now implementing the Mars Climate Database, which is a realistic way to generate hazards. We're wrapping up the final touches on that, but that was a big thing we did this year as well. We launched the NFT bridge to Binance from Wax, making us multi-chain. We'll be revisiting this year and making it even more multi-chain. We launched a store, which is dynamically driven from market pricing, which is making it, self-sustaining and generating, volume, both buying and selling every single day, which is innovation within the space and something that's going to continue to allow us to onboard new players and allow people to change up their strategy. Colony development was launched. This is one of our most successful features. We've had billions in resources contributed to missions over the course of the year, and we're going to expand this out. We did some really cool interface enhancements for the game, including an artwork gallery, which is fully 3D. It allows you to really look into the details of the art. We also updated our sign-up flow, our mission control page, various other pages within the interface to make it as visually appealing and intuitive as possible. We launched an arcade game. We've done multiple successful brand partnerships, including with Alien Worlds and Taco and LifeShip. We launched the entire skills tree, hundreds of skills, innovations, keeping track of all of them, making it look cool. So that was a big deal. Staking, it's gone through multiple iterations, but I think we've landed at a very strong point with the Alcor farms, seeing clearly what rewards are coming in, and we've gotten a lot of positive feedback there. We also did a ledger page where people can look up hourly transactions that are happening in the game and really dissect what they're earning, what they're consuming. This is something behind the scenes, but we've done a massive improvement in our server costs, improving load times across the game. This stuff doesn't really get enough attention in terms of promotion because it's behind the scenes, but it's a big amount of work. And we are significantly better than we were even at the start of the year. So this is big. We launched multiple new websites, which all have high production value images, videos. So incredible job from our design team and our marketing team. We've launched dozens of new videos. We did live shows. We did 101 videos. All of these are getting updated now so that they correspond with new branding and also some of the adjusted gameplay. And so this will all be up to date. We launched our data platform, which is an open research platform to promote realism and showcase the research behind the different items in the game. And this will continue to get expanded over time, and we are going to be investing more into it next year. this is the second time we've talked about the Expedition game, but we started the year essentially with an Expedition game that people felt was less reliable, etc. And we ended the year, now it's a game that's playable, it's fun. We're gonna add more strategy to it, but it's a really nice feature, I think, for the game. And then, of course, we did the major announcement of December, which was the Thrive game engine. This is a huge piece of technology and innovation within gaming. And it took us probably, maybe Charlie has a better sense of it, but 4 to 6 months to really build this last year. And then we were able to release it before the end of the year. And we're finishing up migration now to it, which is fantastic. And this is going to set us up for scaling, for performance, for all the other things that come along with basically having not only the game, but also the platform that it sits on.
I would add to that I think it was an amazing effort by the team to create a forever game engine in the time they did, right? I think and I also think it speaks well to blockchain, to the blockchain and your ability to create engines off the blockchain, which is part of what we're doing here too, right? And so that's pretty exciting. And for those in the crowd that are interested in that sort of thing and interested in producing your own games, your own blockchain games, I think that's really exciting.
Hats off to the team, or helmets off to the team, because we're all astronauts.
Don't literally take your helmet off, though. It is Mars, so don't literally take it off.
Don't do that. Yeah. So let's talk about the roadmap. And to reiterate, the platform is going to be 2 games connected by a blockchain-based economy. Mission Control will generate missions for the Martian residents to complete, and the Martian residents will fulfill these missions and build their ideal life on Mars through open world RPG exploration. The strategy game has been in beta since early this year, and the open world RPG is pre-alpha. They will use the same economy, which is another blockchain feature, which is fantastic. Although people won't really know, because we're making onboarding as seamless as possible. The platform is also first of its kind because we're able to produce real world insights for fed into a game where real people, regular people, gamers are designing, developing, and utilizing the technology to produce net positive resources and Martian production. And that's going to get us things like the mission architecture, resource valuations, what technology is the most efficient, what's the optimized governance. And these are all things that the space industry will need insights on in a data-driven approach, and we're the first ones to do it. So going back to Mission Control, this is the majority of our focus for 2024. The gameplay loop starts with joining at Thrive on Mars, meeting a personalized AI that's going to help you select a specialty. You'll get starting inventory, and then the strategy gameplay loop starts with mastering the resource chain, fighting dynamic hazards, expanding the colony, and growing inventory. Over time, you'll generate more Martia. There'll also be mini games. So imagine a circle inside of here with the Expedition mini game and also the roguelike deck builder, where you can earn more Martia and also utilize the cards that are in your inventory in exciting ways. So Mission Control game, what are we doing? The first thing is we're starting the year, as Charlie said, with finishing up the migration to this engine. And we are going to focus next week on getting more operators into the program. So I know that some of the people in the community have already stood up some systems for this. We're going to organize those and get people more educated on how to participate. This is to earn Marsha rewards, and you're helping operate the game engine that's running Thrive on Mars. So this is our top priority. This will allow us to take our server costs very, very low, which is important for us as a company. And then we'll be able to knock this off the list. And then the second thing is surplus missions and expansion missions. So we're rebranding colony development to expansion missions. And we have basically like 3 parts of this. First one is launching surplus pools, which are Marsha-based contributions for NFT rewards. And you'll be able to contribute straight from your wallet. We'll also open this up for Binance-specific missions. So you'll have that. You'll have Wax-based missions. Of course, Marsha is the only thing you'll be able to contribute to these pools. And there's tons and tons of NFTs that will be won through these pools. The quantity of pools will also update. So we're going to be expanding out the types of missions for convoys, construction, and innovations, so that you can also win base cards from those by contributing fuel, data, and construction materials. And then we'd like to add some sort of weekly schedule where people can see all the missions that are happening and be able to plan ahead and make that more visible outside of the game. The Lunaris onboarding flow it basically looks like this. When you sign up for the game as a new player, you'll get introduced to Lunaris, which will help you choose a specialty through a basically like a dialogue. And that specialty, because right now I think there's a disconnect between why to choose different specialties and how that aligns with your goals. So this is really about closing that gap and making it more of an immersive experience where you're introduced to a character inside of our game. And then this is something we've invented, which is a trial period with rotating wallets. This has never been done before, and we are the first game to do it. So you'll be able to sign up for our game with just your email, password, and crew ID, and then get access to a wallet that has NFTs in it. And you'll be able to play the game for a trial period. Your objective will be to complete training, which will be done through this guided learning center. And this will take you through resource chain management, all of the things that most people go into our Discord and ask about if they're new will be covered here. And it will also be, totally gamified. There will be progress. There will be an achievement at the end. And once you're done with learning, then you can connect a wallet, or you can create a wallet with a single click of a button, and it will transfer all the stuff you earned through learning into that new wallet. Then we're going to move on to finishing up the hazard system, which is the logic and MCD integration. So we essentially need to move the existing hazard system to this new logic where it's possible for multiple hazards to hit the same item at the same time. And the hazards are generated based off of realistic climate data. And then the UI will support multiple hazards. So you'll be able to see, in this case, you can see the female botanist was affected by 3 different issues instead of just one. This is much more realistic. We're also going to be doing a pass at mobile optimization and localization. So the game will be much more smooth on mobile. Also will be translated into multiple languages. Resource storage and decay. This is one that's been discussed quite a bit in the general chat. We'll be putting some time into this and building the system out. And we intend to use the feedback from the community to guide this process. We're going to be doing some expedition mini game enhancements. This will be Also, we'd like input from you guys on what you want to see in this game. We'd like to keep this pretty simple in terms of development effort, but perhaps we do some more randomization. We do some more, one or two interesting things to make it more replayable, more repeatable, and so that the leaderboard is a bit more varied. The in-game crafting system, these are some sketches we've done to basically show what the animation would look like, how the crafting would be inside of the game. There'd be batch crafting, so you can automatically choose what mint numbers you want to transform into higher rarities, and it would cost Marcia. So it'd be much easier to craft. And then for in-game store enhancements, we'll do adding BNB to the store and also mystery crates. So a little bit of risk reward for different levels of price point. Then the NFT bridge. So this is opening up the bridge not only to like achievements and various other assets on Thrive, but also expanding it out to Polygon, maybe some other layer twos. IMX, I think, would be one that we'd look at as well. And then we'll work on communities, which are the pages where you can get a in-game community page, which is customizable. You can join it, and the whole point here is that communities can level up in addition to individual. There are certain bonuses that you'll get. For instance, if someone has a major innovation in the community, everyone in the community gets the minor innovation automatically applied. So there's some really cool things here that will encourage people to invite their friends to play. I mean, one of the incentives we have is we want more people in the game, and we think that communities and guilds are a great way to do that. So this system will help there. So badge system, this is a unique branded element that is also invented by our game. This is it's supposed to look like a aerospace badge, like a credentials badge you might see at like a high security aerospace facility. And we wanted it to be like a mission control badge that you'd get from joining the Interplanetary Space Alliance. And you'll be able to customize the background image, the badge border, as well as some interesting ways to customize perhaps the identity around your patch, and then highlighting 3 achievements that you're the most proud of. So this is essentially the first cosmetic that we wanted to introduce into the game. And then the profile will look something like this, where you see your badge right next to your specialty level and all of the stats. And so this would be more in like 3D, and it would have some animation to it. And then everywhere in the interface where your name shows up, a hover effect will show your badge. So this is our Outpost Surge roguelike deck builder game. I'll just quickly show sort of a sketch of what the map looks like. But imagine loading into a randomly generated hex map where you are looking to go towards points of interest, and you have a set of objectives. Your deck needs to help you fulfill those. You play cards onto the deck, sort of like Slay the Spire, and you can start earning Marcia from your outpost. You have different stash points and resource caches, and if you stash those resources the game, so it's risk reward and infinitely playable. Every map will be different. We're going to be doing some more store enhancements, so ownership card auctions, other purchase options added to the store, badge and identity cosmetics, since we will have released badges at this point. Governance will have some interface applied to it. So right now it's a Google form, and proposal system is very simple, but we want to add a specific proposal page with voting, and then a voting power system where different land, different NFTs you own, and different tokens you have contribute to your voting power. Then we start getting into land. So orbital scanning is a jigsaw puzzle game where you unlock the subsurface resources inside of the map. And we've already built this out. We just need to polish it. And then land sale would happen via the in-game store. There's been a lot of back and forth around the right way to do this. So we'll have plenty of time to polish this up and make it a great experience. And then land construction and management. So this is showing the construction process for land. And basically you have a certain amount of resources and things that you would need in order to build a structure on your land. And also you probably burn a few base cards to build something. And then that would allow you to construct it. Once it's constructed, you can start earning resources off it and managing it just like a ownership card. So it could be, infinite amount of configurations for land plots. You'll want to build stuff on your land that corresponds with the resources underneath and also the location. So if you're close to, a ice deposit, you probably want to build ice mining equipment so that you get a bigger, water production. So this is essentially the priorities that we have internally. Critical is migration expansion, high priority, medium, low. This is for 2024. We'll try to get through as much as we can in 2024, but this really depends on various factors. Will you be able to build structures without owning ownership? Yes, you will. The structures on land will not be ownership cards. They will be attributes on land NFTs. So think of the land NFTs as like an ownership card for a land plot, and then you'll be able to customize what's on there based on what you built. And that also allows us to experiment with some decay maintenance things on buildings, and also allows us to it's essentially a much easier system to manage. So yeah, that's kind of the thought there. Martian Resident is an extremely exciting open world RPG concept. For those of you who haven't seen it, let's play the trailer. Nice. So I'm going to end it there. We'll see you all next week. No, just kidding. So we'll actually have a dedicated article and everything around Martian Resident, because we want to really dive into our viewpoint on what the first gameplay loop could look like. But it's going to be very exciting. It's going to show the concept of a connected economy. And that whole concept of the mission control seeding missions into Martian resident, and then the residents fulfilling those missions and completing the gameplay loop for the strategy game. So very big, exciting proof point for us. And it's built in Unreal, so it's going to have fantastic graphics. And right now, what we want to do is publish a build of it to start, and then work a little bit on connecting it up to the mission control game as the year goes on. Our goal is to release a version of this year, and we'd like to do it as soon as we can. So with that, I think we should open it up to questions. I'll look at the chat and I'll try to answer ones that came in as I was speaking, but feel free to add more. Right, so Devil has a question about a ticket. So maybe Stephanie, we can just.
Yeah, I looked at that ticket. I'll get back to you offline about that, Hunter.
Okay, no worries. So we hear you, Devil. We will get back to you. Big Man Thing said staking is great now. Thank you. It's the most successful it's ever been. So we'll just continue to grow it. Getting influencer on board to do YouTube videos about Thrive would be great and fun. Yeah, totally. And just think about, things like the convoys, the expansion missions. Now that those are opened up to many more rewards, I think it's a great candidate for people to stream. And I think people will have a lot of fun with that. And then we also will have mystery crates in the store, which is fun to stream. If we can nail some interesting expansion or expedition mission things, that will be another great streaming opportunity. And then the roguelike deck builder will be, there's so many people that are streaming roguelike deck builder games on all platforms. So there's lots of things that will happen to get us, to more visibility there, of course. And then influencers also will be interested in the communities, the in-game communities, and bringing in their audience. So lots of exciting opportunities to expand. Maybe some workforce in the game can be replaced by drones, robotic equipment, like Harpy is saying in the greenhouse. Yeah, so with the Martian Resident game, we're going to be looking at one thing in particular, which is like scanning. So you use a drone, for instance, to scan different things for repair. So we're going to introduce that. We talked about building on land. Did you name Martian Resident after the Martian aliens, PFPs? Of course. Why not? No, I think that the name is a working title. I don't know if it's the flashiest name, but I think it's very descriptive. We'll probably think about renaming it if we come up with something better, but the concept is really you're becoming a resident, you're moving to Mars and you're building your life there. So it sounded good, but definitely not set in stone or regolith. Can you please, okay, that's another ticket question. All right. Martian Resident needs to be on mobile. Yeah, so I think the easiest for us to publish on to start would be desktop, would be PC and Mac. But since we're using Unreal, we can publish it to different platforms. Now the controls we need to figure out for mobile, because that's going to be a different set of controls. But I would like for Martian Resident to be on the App Store and on Google Play and various other platforms where we can gain more visibility. So the intention there would be, and even consoles. So all this time, I thought we would build ownership cards to our lands. Can you explain it more? Yeah, so the ownership cards, they're the idea is that they're representing one-to-one items in the Mars city that's managed and built by the ISA. Once that city reaches self-sustaining size, which we're still working out exactly when that is, then it will go, then land will basically open up to anyone being able to build what they want on land, but it will not be connected to the city. It'll be outside the city. And so in order to do that, land would become an NFT of its own, each land plot. And then in order to manage basically like the land, what's being built on the land easier. Because the idea is that like ownership cards, one of the challenges is you can't destroy an ownership card. And so the main colony needs to be continue on in perpetuity. And so inherently they will have the value of basically being continued on. But with land, each plot has a certain amount of real estate, and each building, equipment, vehicle has a certain amount of real estate. So in order to manage that easier, the land plot would essentially give you that land, that amount of real estate, and you'd be able to choose what you want to build on it. But you wouldn't need an ownership card in order to build on land, because they're meant to be scarce. They're also it would almost be like we at one point we had blueprints as an item type that you would need to build on land, but we felt like it was a little bit easier to just have almost like a crafting recipe per building that you'd be able to create a building from, and you just need to have a certain amount of resources and potentially a skill or two to be able to build certain building types. So think about the OG. Yeah, ownership cards are OG, right? They're like meant for the main colony. Yeah, so let me scroll up. So maybe 2 weeks till hazards. Maybe a little bit longer. We are working on the engine migration, which is probably, I don't know, Charlie, maybe you have a sense of it, maybe 2 weeks away. Onboarding, it seems like, to get through all that stuff, it's probably going to be February sometime. And then hazards are coming afterwards. So I'd say hazards probably will come back in February at some point. We want to prioritize expansion missions before that. Will there be various level cards awarded for missions, construction, and fuel? Yes. From standard all the way up to solar flare, and then of course, ownership cards. And the idea is that for construction missions, you'd be winning construction producing items. For convoys, you'd be winning fuel producing items, etc. Martian Resident looks to be awesome and exciting, but I'm guessing it's maybe a couple years away at least. In the meantime, how much development time do you think will be devoted to Outpost Surge? Seems like with some polish and continued development, it could become the first real compelling game loop that complements and leverages the Thrive-O-Mar onboarding. We'll expand it to multiplayer collaborative versions like Slay the Spire. Yeah, so I think it's great feedback. we're planning on getting to the Outpost Surge, earlier than the majority of the Martian Resident gameplay. What I'd like for us to do is get a loop out for Martian Resident that is playable. And Outpost Surge, it's a little bit of a different development stack, so we have different developers working on both. But yeah, we agree that the Surge would be a really compelling game loop, inside of the larger economic simulation loop that we have with resource management, hazards, and expansion missions. In terms of multiplayer, we'll start with a solo experience and a limited amount of objectives and a simple kind of gameplay map, and then over time we can make it. We really want to just see how people use it, and then we can expand it from there. The one barrier is onboarding. The one barrier to these exciting updates is still the onboarding experience, in my opinion. That being said, I think the Lunaris experience should be prioritized. It's a critical part of the foundation. Yeah, so we were working on that this morning. So it's in the works. Charlie says we definitely hear this and are working hard to getting this work done. Yep. Will they be a limit on land? So right now I think the map that we have is limited in size, but the value of land will be tied to its location and the resources that are under the land. So I think that there would be kind of like no man's land, which maybe would be very cheap and you could experiment on and buy and try out things. But it may make sense for us to have tons of land and just certain things you can buy up just for the land value, and then others that you'd buy to construct things on. But right now, we're still working out the details of that. Thank you, Thrive on Mars team. The future is looking bright, and I look forward to seeing everything fall into place. I'll keep buying Martian in the meantime. Great, big man, thanks. Yeah, 2023 was an amazing year. Congrats for this huge work. 2024 is exciting. S7I. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right. Well, I think we got through all of that. Charlie or Stephanie, you guys have anything else to say before we wrap it up?
I think we covered a lot. It's going to be an exciting new year.
So what I'm hearing is generally the roadmap is the right order. There's no major pushback on things. I think that's great. I'm glad we got it pretty much right the first time. But definitely let us know if there's anything, what I'm hearing from you guys is more of excitement around what we're building, and that you guys just want us to build it. So we'll go ahead and do that. That's the goal. So if you guys just keep supporting us, that's what we'd love to continue doing this until we actually get to Mars one day. And I was saying this to the team yesterday, but what really the reason I started this project, and the reason I'm as excited as ever to continue building this, is because I do genuinely believe that the most important thing that we can be doing on some of the most advanced technology in my career, whether it's at Apple with the Apple Watch and iPhone, all the way to Magic Leap, where I worked on some of the most advanced computing displays and photonics ever. And as I was looking at what to do next, I looked at AI, I looked at 3D printing, I looked at all these emerging technologies. And I think one thing that we really need to be asking ourselves is, is AI actually going to be net positive for humanity? Is augmented reality going to be a net positive for humanity? Because yes, it's cool, but I see a lot of negative ways that can the outcome of AI, the outcome of augmented reality, the outcome of various other potential emerging technologies. And we need to be very aware of those things. But what I would say is that if you look at major space missions and how they've positively impacted humanity in the past, if you take the Apollo program, it spiked science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in the youth by 300% after astronauts landed on the moon. I think that if we get people on Mars living and thriving, we are going to see an explosion of engineers, scientists, and all these other high value fields from young people, explosion of growth there. And we're also going to see scientific advancements on a scale that's never been done before. We're going to see technology advancement that's going to impact Earth in a positive way. Think about self-sustaining, energy systems, way to be issues on Earth will be solvable and probably solved first on Mars. All of these things are extremely positive for humanity. And the only argument, which I think is a weak argument against going to Mars, is, well, you don't really care about Earth. Why are you leaving? But I actually think we kind of have to leave Earth, and the burdens, the challenges that we create ourselves, and go to a place where there's a blank slate. Perhaps that's the way to solve some of the things that are happening on Earth. But I will say that overall, I cannot think of another way to positively impact humanity more than getting multiplanetary. And this project is very unique from any other Mars game you'll play, because we are carving out a real world value to the aerospace industry by being the first large scale digital simulation to gain social and economic insights about how a large player base operates technology efficiently in a realistic environment. And that is a $1 billion, very important thing that the industry does not have right now, that we are all helping create. So this project is going to affect the space industry in a very real way, and that's why I'm doing this, because I want us to be, basically a big reason why people aren't just surviving on Mars, but they're thriving on Mars. So, anyways, and that's also a reason why we rebranded to Thrive, because I think it works perfectly with our overall vision of what that future looks like. So, anyways, just wanted to leave you guys with that, and thank you again.